Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today you're going to be hearing some student voices from current ninth graders here at Menlo-Atherton. So stick with us and you'll be in for a treat to hear real student voices. Before we start, let's get to know who you will hear from. And so we will start with our first student, Aiden. Aiden, introduce who are you? Tell us your name, grade level, and what school you attended before MA.
My name is Aiden Wise. I'm in ninth grade and I went to Hillview Middle School.
Hi, I'm Samira and I went to Hillview Middle School.
And then hi, I'm Abby. I'm a ninth grader and I went to Hillview before MA.
Thank you for introducing yourselves, everyone. And so we're going to move into the next question, which is, why did you choose MA? And we will start with Aiden again.
So I could have gone to Sacred Heart, Menlo, or MA, but I chose MA because all my friends are also here and it makes the experience more enjoyable. And there's also a really diverse community, which I like because you get to know like different cultures.
Thank you so much, Aiden. I like that answer. Can we hear from Samira?
I chose to go to MA because I live nearby the school and also because my family couldn't really afford private school. And so we went to MA, which is still a great school. And also my parents, my aunts, and my uncles all graduated from here. And so they really wanted me to be the second generation graduate of MA.
I love that, continuing the family legacy. Nice. Abby, how about you?
Similar to Samir, my mom also went to MA and so did all my siblings and they all loved it. So that's one of the reasons why I came here. I've always been excited to go to school here because it's a much more diverse environment than a lot of the private schools. And I personally really love the big school. Some challenges are following a good schedule and just making good habits. Um, and some successes is just hard work often pays off in school.
Excellent responses. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so now I want to get to know, or I want you to share a little bit about what classes are you taking? You can highlight a few of your classes that you enjoy the most, so everyone can get to know what is the typical course load for a ninth grader here like. And we will start this time with Abby.
Currently, I'm taking multicultural literature and voice, which is just the English option for ninth graders. Um, PE, biology, ethnic studies, AS Algebra 2, and Spanish 2. I really love all my teachers, all my classes, all my classmates, but I'll definitely say that bio is probably my favorite subject, just because it's really interesting and there are just so many labs and new ideas that I didn't know before.
Aiden, can we hear from you?
So I definitely also enjoy biology the most. You just get to learn so many new topics and like the course really gets like in depth in life, like what's really happening in life. So yeah, that's why I like it the most. And I'd say I have like around an hour of homework a day, so it's not like the worst. And I expected it honestly to be worse. But
So I'm taking ethnic studies, Spanish for native speakers 4, biology, algebra 1, and English, which is called multicultural literature and voice. And I'm also taking digital filmmaking and then PE. And some of the classes that I enjoy the most is my Spanish class. Like, if you had told me like back when I was in 7th grade that my like Spanish would be my favorite class here in high school, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But I really like my teacher, and he really engages with the students. And not only do we learn Spanish, we also listen to songs in Spanish and watch movies in Spanish and watch shows that are like made in Spanish. And so it's really fun. And I also love digital filmmaking because we get to make movies and we edit them and we put special effects and everything. And also because I made a lot of new friends doing it. And I actually don't have like a lot of homework. I had more homework when I was in middle school. So yeah, yeah, that's basically it.
Excellent. The way that you're describing those classes kind of make me want to be in those classes. So those classes sound fun. Thank you everyone for sharing. And so as we know, academics is not the only thing available on campus. We also can be part of different communities or different clubs at MA or sports. And so I'm curious, How are you all involved on campus? And so Samir, we can start with you first, and then we'll go to Aiden and then Abby.
So I'm in Model UN actually. We haven't had a lot of meetings lately because of some leadership changes, but I'm in that. And also, MA has really given me the opportunity to be able to do all of the activities that I have out of school. And so because of that, my schedule is like isn't as chaotic as it was before because MA gives me that opportunity.
Nice. I like that you've been able to find that balance between doing schoolwork and your, choices on campus, and then your extracurricular activities outside of school. That's great. Aiden, how about you?
So I don't have that much time outside of school, but I do participate in a lot of like the community service activities that MA provides, like the canned food drive, for example, which is honestly pretty fun to go like just out and about with your friends and collecting cans. So
That's wonderful. I love the canned food drive season here on campus. It's great to see all the students come together, and then distribution day is also a lot of fun. So I'm excited that you're part of that. How about you, Abby? What are you part of on campus?
I would definitely agree that the canned food drive was a lot of fun to go with friends. Um, sorry, but I'm also on the dance team, which has allowed me to meet a lot of upperclassmen and a lot of other kids my age. And I did join a few clubs, but sometimes I don't go to all the meetings. I would definitely advise that during Club Rush, to sign up for any club that you're interested in, because it's a lot easier to drop out of clubs later on if you realize that's not something you want to do than it is to join all the different like reminds and different things that you need to do after if you realize you want to do it later.
Good tip. And there are so many clubs on our campus that sometimes you don't even get to go to all of them during Club Rush. So that's a good tip. Thank you for sharing that, Abby. And on that same note of tips, what advice do you have for incoming freshmen that are making the decision to maybe come here or go somewhere else? Or just in general, what is a tip that you could share now as ninth graders with future ninth graders? And we will start with Abby this time.
For deciding which school you want to go to, don't put too much, like it is a big decision, but you also don't need to put too much pressure on it because there's always an option to switch to another school later on. And a lot of people that will join, like went to another school for freshman year and will come back for sophomore year, like they fit that, like they fit right back in. So you don't need to put too much pressure on whether you'll like it or not because there's always the opportunity to switch. And I would advise you to always like join some sort of team or club to get to know more people. Um, Especially don't be afraid to meet new people and join new groups. I would also advise you to form healthy routines to be productive and get good sleep because life is much more enjoyable when you're well rested. And that's definitely something that I personally need to work on, but I'm trying to.
All good tips. Thanks, Abby. How about you, Aiden? What advice could you share with incoming freshmen?
I think the main thing that I wish I had more help on was like the very start of high school, because it seems very overwhelming when like your parents especially keep pressuring you, and it's just a totally different experience than any school you've probably ever gone to. So I guess I'd just say try to balance out your workload, and it's okay to take breaks, and it's okay to like cry, because it's just super stressful. So you just need to try to adapt to it and get used to it.
Thanks, Aiden. I love your transparency. It can be a challenging time, right? Transitioning from maybe a middle school where there's only maybe 400 students on a campus to this enormous school. But I like your advice of just, it's going to be difficult, and it's okay. It's difficult for probably more than just you, right? Other people are going to the same thing. So I like that. Thanks, Aiden. Samira, how about you? What advice do you have for any incoming freshmen?
Well, one I feel like is to kind of take advantage of the work that like the time you have in class to work on your homework, because there's a lot of time in class at like in my classes at least where they're like, okay, do your homework. And so I like try to get as much done so that when I go home I have more free time to do other things. Also, I feel like if to not be afraid to talk to more people, like new people, people you haven't really talked about, because you know, I have a friend of mine, and she felt really lonely at the beginning of the school year because like not a lot of kids talk to her. And so because of that, I feel like maybe just talk more to other kids and don't be afraid to branch out to new people.
Good tips. Time management, very important, right? And then, yeah, being social, right? It's scary. It can be scary. You don't know new people, but those new faces will probably end up being in your other classes anyway. So it will be nice to have familiar faces in all of your classes. Thanks. Good advice, Amira. And lastly, is there anything else maybe that we didn't cover that you would want to share with future students, or any advice for parents that you want to share? Could go in here. I don't know if anybody wants to start.
Yeah. I'll just like to remind the freshmen that although not all colleges take it into consideration, a lot do look at your freshman or like your freshman GPA does contribute to your overall high school GPA. It's not something that you should be like overly stressed and worried about, but you should be conscious that the grade you get freshman year like might bring up or bring down your GPA in future years. And when the classes are easier freshman year, it might be a good chance to just try to like really work hard and get really good grades just so it can keep your GPA high when you get to more challenging classes. Um, I'd also like to say that for some of the classes, you need to pass to graduate. And you should also keep that in mind. Like biology, if you don't pass it, you will need to retake it before you graduate. But this will all be talked about in your classes once you get to MA. And then for advice to parents, I'd probably just say be there for your kids if you need help. But don't put too much pressure on them because they already put so much pressure on themselves. And having someone like if you score bad on the test, the amount of kids have been like, oh, like my mom can't find out about this. Like, I don't know. You just want to make sure you're giving your kid a safe environment for them to learn and grow and just be their own person.
Thank you so much, Abby. Aiden, do you have anything to add?
I feel like Abby said it all, but like really, again, just for parents, like it's a totally new experience for you and your kid. So like just don't put too much stress on them because they're already going under enough stress. So yeah.
Thanks for that, Aiden. I like that. Again, transparency, those real insights coming from you. Samira, how about you? Any final thoughts to add?
Yeah, I also agree with Aiden and Abby. And another thing is to make sure you check when you come to MA, there's this thing we use called Canvas, and make sure that you check Canvas because it has like all of your assignments that are going to be due, and it really helps you, and you can like check them off too so that they don't show up once when you're done. And so that has really helped me a lot, especially since we have the what if scores. And so like you can like type in a score and you can be like, okay, I have to work to get maybe higher than this so I can get the grade that I want. And so make sure like that's something you should keep in mind when you go to MA.
Oh yes, Canvas, very, very important, right? They will all hear about Canvas if they decide to come here. So that brings us to the end, right? Thank you so much, Samira, Aiden, and Abby for giving us your true, authentic perspectives, right? We can't, make this up. This is what you are all living here as ninth graders at MA. And so I hope that this short but brief webinar can give some insight, some perspective to maybe potential bears that are deciding where they're going to come. And I hope that you all help to maybe persuade them to come here. MA is ready to welcome new bears. So thank you so much for your time. And we hope you all learned something and enjoyed this session. Thank you so much, everyone.